Good afternoon. Pardon us for being a little late. You may know we were on the House floor a little past 11, so I think we have enough to get started. But Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Representative Sapicki, Dixie, Griffey, Harris, Haston, Hicks of Washington, Manis, McKenzie, Parkinson, Reagan, Rudder, Sparks, Warner, Vice Chair Lady Weaver, Chair Lady Moody.
Here.
Madam Chair Lady, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. And with that, I'll gavel us into order, into session. And as usual, before we start, members, do you have any recognitions or anything you'd like to make before we? All right, seeing none. If you would like to join us, we start off saying the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Well, so today is April the 14th, and I hate to say anything, not to jinx anything, but it's possible we could finish our calendar today, but we will take it one at a time and see how things go. So first on our calendar, where we left off last week, House Bill 1460 by Representative Hakeem. And thank you again for forgiving us for not getting to you. You have a motion and a second?
No problem, Madam Chair, and we thank you and the committee.
I see you have an amendment, I think. Do you?
I believe there was a, yes, ma'am.
Can you
Sure.
read us, when you get settled, your tracking code so we
Okay.
can be caught up?
I apologize.
Take your time.
I might have to ask legal to help me with that. Somebody. 6376. Yes, ma'am.
All right, we need a motion all right, you have a motion and a second on your amendment.
Yeah, proceed.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you,
Thank
Madam.
you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Every student should have the opportunity to study our great American heritage. This bill dives into a part of our shared American heritage. And when we learn about our history, it benefits everyone. This bill would require age-appropriate instruction on a broad American history, our broad American history story, but not until 2025-2026 school year. This gives us several years to make the necessary updates to curriculum and materials. If we leave it up to individual schools to decide if and how to teach a broader, fuller American story, we risk leaving teachers unprepared. I'm hearing from teachers of all backgrounds in my district. Teachers want to teach these important facts to students. And so by codifying this bill to be making it part of Tennessee's curriculum, we give them the time to prepare and support them with the necessary materials they need to be successful. Okay. If we have questions, Madam.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, anybody have a question about the amendment? We're on the amendment. Chairman Sapicki.
I apologize. Yes, sir.
All right, motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, your amendment's added onto your bill.
All right.
You may proceed.
Yes, ma'am. If we have questions, I'm prepared to do that.
I see, who did we see? Representative Chairman Sapicki.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Representative Hakeem, for this bill.
Yes, sir.
there are some things in the bill that I think we can work on to make better. I am concerned with because currently in our standards, we already have African-American history all throughout our standards being taught right now in all the different grade levels. So I'm a little confused of how this would inadvertently affect these being pulled out, which otherwise would have been taught to our students. And then also in code 49.61006, we'd be amending that part, which already has African-American history, Black history being taught in our schools. So with that kind of caution, I'd be very cautious moving forward, because in paragraph 1 of the bill, it does an individual carve out in grades 5 through 8 for Black history. Now, I would assume that everybody here would not want individual carve outs for everybody's history to be taught separate during the day, which could prevent or could present problems. Those that have been here a year ago with me know that we couldn't even pass a bill to add another 30-minute recess to the day for our kids. So creating these carve-outs could inadvertently be detrimental to our reading, writing, and math, where in the aspect of it, being able to incorporate these into English language arts to let our children read about them has a good aspect to the bill. With the carve-out being there, and then in the in the second paragraph, it talks about LEA public charter schools should provide age-appropriate, grade-appropriate instruction to public school students at appropriate grade levels as determined by the respective local board of education, which leads the opening there for teaching stuff that does not align to our standards or has not gone through any type of review. I see where you're going with this, and I think it's admirable. I think that we need to really look at this as an education committee when our social studies standards come up and we start talking about history. Let's make sure we're getting A, an accurate history taught. B, let's make sure we're getting appropriate history taught of children looking up to the right people in this world.
Yes, sir.
And so wanting to get more information on that, it doesn't take effect until 25-26. I would like to make a motion that we summer study this so that we can take a look at this over the summer and then make sure we get this bill in the perfect position. Hope you're hearing me. We hope we get this bill in the perfect position as we come back next year so that we can start to prepare for the social studies review that's coming up shortly. That would be my motion, Madam Chairman.
Second.
All right, that cuts off debate. We have a motion and a second to send House Bill 1460 to summer study. All in favor of sending this to summer study, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, the ayes have it, and we will be sending that to summer study, Representative.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you. Number 2 on our calendar, members, is House Bill 0745 by Representative Haston. You have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I believe I have an amendment 7104 that makes the bill.
Your amendment 7104 for the record has a motion and a second. You may explain your amendment. Right, motion. We have a motion to add it to the bill. Seconded. Goes on the bill. All in favor of adding it to the bill, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, it goes on the bill. You may explain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What this bill does, this has been ongoing. We've worked on this for a couple of years now, and I think we've gotten in a good position to really help some students connect to the workforce. What this does is offer our high school seniors the opportunity to earn a National Career Readiness Certificate by taking the ACT Work Keys Assessment without any charge to the student at all. For those of you not familiar with the NCRC, it's a nationally recognized evidence-based credential that certifies essential skills for workplace success and is recognized by over 800 businesses in the state of Tennessee. It's of course important to prepare our students for the next test and the next class, but I think it might be the most important thing is to prepare them for their first career. I think offering this opportunity goes a long way in connecting our students directly to the workforce. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative McKenzie, do you have a question on the amendment?
Yes.
Yes. All right, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So is it possible, well, let me ask this first. Are there other readiness certificates or assessments out there?
Not that I'm aware of. There are other assessments. That's why we did work with some groups to make sure that in the bill itself, it just says, I think if you'll look at section 2, I believe is what it's in. It says,
And that
take
B
a
section?
nationally recognized assessment. So there are some other nationally recognized assessments, but the reason that, really the state of Tennessee's workforce is what's made this choice for us, and that the NCRC is recognized by the 800 businesses in the state of Tennessee. And that's probably what most schools, but the LEAs will have the opportunity to choose what's best for them to offer.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's my concern. I just, when we start citing companies, I think there's procurement and all sorts of issues as far as the contractual process. So that's my concern. So I don't know. I would like to ask legal a question.
All right. Mr. John Williams.
We need to go out of session.
Well, we are out of session for legal counsel.
Thank you. So, and that's so I'm sure you understand that the gist of my question, and that's just dealing with the fact that we're bleeding ACT all over this amendment and bill, and is that going to tie our hands? There may be other assessments, there may be better assessments. I'd like to create an environment where there could be other assessments and make it a more competitive, so that we as taxpayers can get the best product. And this seems to be limiting in that. Not that there's anything wrong with ACT WorkKeys.
Thank you. All right.
John Williams, Office of Legal Services. So in the body of the bill that will be, if it's passed, put into law, it doesn't specify a specific assessment. It just says take nationally recognized assessments in the 21-22, 22-23 school year. So it leaves it open to the LEA or public charter school.
Representative McKenzie.
So this amendment that I'm looking at won't be part of the bill, and there will be no mention of ACT WorkKeys in what we'll see as amended?
John.
So the language in the whereas clauses at the beginning mention the ACT WorkKeys, but the actual body of the bill that will be the effective portion of the law does not specify a specific assessment.
Okay, so I'm looking at Amendment 7104.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So what you're saying is, even with I agree that the second one does take out a lot, but it still does cite the ACT WorkKeys. That's not my bottom line question. Is that the way that's phrased is not going to give an unfair advantage, or could be perceived as giving an unfair advantage to this one product?
All right, John.
So that portion would be in the whereas clauses before be it enacted. So it would not be a part of the body of the bill that would be in effect.
Representative McKenzie.
I guess, as you know, I heard your answer, and I understand part of it. I guess is this commonly done to actually have a for-profit vendor, even in the whereases, within our, whereas Coca-Cola has a great product, we're going to bid soft drinks. It just seems to potentially bias the process. So if you're telling me that that's not the case, now stand corrected, and I'll understand.
Representative McKenzie, I've been told that question may be better answered by the sponsor. If you would like for us to go back in session and we can.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other for legal while we're out?
No.
All right, seeing none, we'll back in session. And Representative McKenzie?
Go ahead. What was the
Yeah,
question?
and so when, as I said, even though I get it's not in the, heretofores, but in the whereas is when you state a product, a vendor, a for-profit company, that just seems to be a bit out of place and could lead to potential bias. What's your thoughts around potentially taking out that specific vendor and just saying career readiness assessments?
Well, again, I don't think that it's something that we've chosen. It's really what the workforce of the state of Tennessee has said that they adhere to and what that they respect. And so we're just trying to match what the workforce in Tennessee is really asking of the LEAs and what I think they're asking of our students.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I see Representative Griffey.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you, sponsor, for bringing this legislation. I'd like to share a story with the committee, if I may, if you indulge me for just a minute. I'll try to be brief. When I got elected, one of our biggest issues in my rural districts is trying to get good paying factory jobs, and highlighted the problems when NAFTA and all our good paying factory jobs went to Mexico and China. And one of the highlights in American manufacturing success stories is Joe Max Higgins down the Golden Triangle in Mississippi, Columbus, Tupelo, right around in there. And he came from Arkansas, and he went there and he said, you know what, I'm not gonna, if I get some lemons, I'm gonna make lemonade out of it. And he put together a package, and he got some land and available for manufacturers to go there. And then they started working on trying to get labor force readiness. And he said one of the best things he did, and he took that area from, I think he brought in over 100,000 good paying manufacturing jobs. Started with the helicopter company, just kept building on Caterpillars down there, all kind. They're just major manufacturing area now. He said one of the best things we did is we got our high schools to institute using the Work Keys program for people that weren't going to go to college, but they would have experience in the manufacturing business. And he had a company that was looking at them in Birmingham, Alabama, where to relocate. He says, I'll bet you what, if you guys will load here out, if you guys will relocate here, I can guarantee you that 75% of our students will pass the Work Keys Ready program. You'll have for this high school, and you'll have all the labor you want. And he says, well, how do you know you can do that? And he says, well, because we already do it and already do that testing. And the company relocated there because of that. So this is extremely important for manufacturers. This Work Keys, and I don't care whether it's Work Keys or something else. I just think Work Keys is kind of the gold standard. And so if manufacturers know that you've got a high school with so many graduates that can pass Work Keys and be proficient at it, that's a huge, huge benefit for manufacturers looking to relocate a manufacturing facility to your area. So I support this legislation. I'm so glad you brought it. And thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
Thank you for that. Next, I see Representative Warner.
Call for previous question, please.
All right, previous question has been called. Any objection? All right. All in favor of passing House Bill 0745 to, hang on, Government Ops, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Passes on to Government Ops. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And members, on number 3, I was just informed by the Chairman Sapicki. He has asked that we roll this to the second calendar of 2022. All right, we have a motion to roll and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we roll it to the second calendar of 2022. And that, believe it or not, brings us to the end of our calendar. And again, I just want to thank there's so many moving parts. And unless it's, we have something sent back to us, I will go ahead and thank our clerks, our sergeant at arms, and my vice chair, Terry Lynn Weaver, And each one of you, the members of this committee, I thank you for the way we've conducted business and done good work for the state of Tennessee. And it's been an honor to serve with you. And unless we're called back, we will do that. And we will be adjourned at the Education Instruction Committee is now closed, but subject to the call of the chair. So everybody ready to go? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you all.